Welcome back. So I hope you made it through your solar plexus week a lot easier than I did. I know ego deaths are pretty hard to deal with. It makes you question everything. It makes you question who you are. It makes you question your motives for everything that you do. And it can be a very humbling experience, to say the least. It kind of shows you where you're getting your ego boosts from. So like, if you're getting your ego boost from having a lot of money or owning a lot of things in your life and that makes you feel important, or if it's about people being interested in you and you sleeping with a lot of people and that makes you feel good about yourself, that's also an ego thing. Because you need that attention to feel important. So that chakra will wake you up to the fact that you've been feeding your own inner beast and growing your big head. And it happens to the best of us. But once the chakra is cleared out and balanced, it's going to be easier to work with your heart chakra without egoical issues getting in the way. So the heart chakra is your center point. The heart chakra is where your soul knowledge is. And it's sometimes called the heart mind. And this is where your journey lies. So it's all translated through your feelings, through your emotions, your wants, and your desires. But this is of pure heart desires, not egoic desires like sleeping with the most people that you can. Although there is such a thing as a sacred prostitute, that's a conversation for another time. But let's talk about the heart chakra. So it's going to be in the center of your chest. The color of the heart chakra is green. So good foods to eat this week would be kiwi, green apples, artichoke, asparagus, peas, leafy greens, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Also green juices are super great. I've been doing juices all week. Just like the previous weeks, you're going to want to use your healing camp meditation for your heart chakra. And this chakra is connected to the element of air. So if you want to go outside to meditate, or maybe just like burn an incense in your room with the fan on, that would be great for this meditation. You can use your crystals, jade, rose quartz, morganite, emerald, or fluorite. And you can look up more about those for specific meetings, or you can also look up more if you have different ones and you're not sure if they are associated. Now, good scents to get for incense would be lavender, rose, or jasmine, or anything else that you can look up. See what you want. It's always up to you on what you resonate with. So it's always very personal, really. It really is. It's about what you want to work on. So if you feel inclined to do that, I would suggest it. So you'll want to start with your chakra check-in and keep these things in mind when you're doing this for the heart chakra, which is located in the middle of the chest, in between your pectorals or your breasts. Okay, so when you're doing your check-in, you can keep these questions in mind. Do you love yourself and others? Can you forgive others, and can you forgive yourself? Do you love life? Do you feel at peace? Do you believe that we are all connected? Can you see the connection between yourself and others? How do you experience joy in your life, and what would you like to do to cultivate more joy? So remember to be setting your intentions every day this week to connect to and heal and balance your heart chakra each day, and to listen to your heart chakra healing frequencies every night while you sleep for maximum healing. So you get out of this what you put into it. And remember to say your affirmations once daily. Here are some. I know that in truth we are all connected and love is our true essence. I operate from a foundation of love. I feel love and compassion for myself and for others. I am at peace with myself and others. I find joy and connection in everyday life. I love fully and I love freely. Love is flowing towards me and through me at all times. I radiate love and it is returned to me exponentially. The universe surrounds me with love. I see and experience beauty everywhere I go. So those are some good ones, or you can look up some more that resonate with you. It's totally up to you. So you might want to also do journal prompts to truly get into your heart and your heart's needs and your heart's wants, because a lot of the times we gaslight ourselves out of our own emotions, and in doing so we create this resistance in the body because we're not expressing these emotions, and it creates all kinds of backups and blockages. You can hold and store so much old emotion in the heart area. So, past pain and disappointment you've not dealt with affects the shoulders and it closes the heart chakra. It also creates the wall between ourselves and others, and we're not open because of our pain and our trauma in our lives. And then boom, we close ourselves off from receiving not just romantic love, but receiving in general friendships, kindness, and things that the universe wants to give to us. So this chakra is not just about loving others, but it's also about allowing ourselves to be loved. About loving ourselves unconditionally and nurturing and caring for ourselves, and especially our inner child, who is the one who had painful things happen to them. If you don't play and you don't do things to make your inner child happy, then your life will start to become dull and become more and more of the same. So you have to go to that inner child and that scene that happened to you as a kid that hurt you so much, and grab that kid and pick them up and take them into the life that you have now, into the light, and tell them this will never happen again and nobody can hurt you this way again, because I have you now, and I will take better care of you than any of those people could, which is another huge part in creating that solid, unshakable foundation. So when big emotions do come up, you can be there for yourself and not let it launch you into a massive depressive episode, because you are good with or without that thing or situation or person who caused the said feelings. Okay. So intimacy issues could stem from not being open. Like you don't want to be seen, you don't want to be touched, you don't want to be looked at, or it could go the other way. You long for intimacy so badly because you never had it, and as a child you weren't really given love. Or you were, but it was very conditional. So now you seek it from everybody else instead of giving it to yourself. You can actually be addicted to love and romance, and you could be constantly thinking about it, looking for it, making up stories and scenarios in your mind to escape your current reality. But what is actually happening, it's called limerence, and it stems from emotional neglect, which is a heart chakra wound. An example of this would be pining over someone who you used to be with 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago. That person you were with no longer exists. That version of them died when the relationship did. I'm sorry to say, that kind of sounds harsh, but you're romanticizing and you're pining over a memory of someone. Essentially, you're pining over a ghost. Someone who is simply in your mind. The truth is, it will never be that way again. It will never be the same again. Even if that person came back, they wouldn't be the person that you're pining after. So we have to look at if our inner is matching our outer. So also some people think they fall in love at first sight. They don't even know the person, so they create a version of that person in their head who's not real. You've turned this person into somebody that you want them to be, instead of taking the time to get to know who they actually are and see if in fact you can grow something with them, right? So maybe you can grow something solid and stable, and the sad thing is maybe you build this person up in your head and then you go out with them and then they're different than what you thought, and then you don't like them, and then you're disappointed because you built them up so much and put them on a pedestal, and that's not even who they are, but it's maybe your ideal version of somebody you'd want to be with. Okay, so emotional neglect in childhood can cause all kinds of issues in adulthood. It can cause you to be very clingy and anxious, because if you were disappointed a lot as a child, you may feel urgency to take action on emotion. So you fear that love is scarce. Maybe in your home growing up, love was scarce, right? And so when it presents itself, you need to cling on to it. You need to hold on to it because you don't know if it's going to come again. So if your parents were only loving to you when you did something right or on special occasions, you'll feel this way. Your anxiety, which is not a bad thing, it is a part of the human spectrum of emotions, and we are all spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. And in having that experience, we want to learn to navigate through all of our emotions and learn what they're telling us. So for instance, my anxiety is turned up when I feel like I'm being judged or when I feel pain. And this is because in my childhood, when I did something wrong or my parents deemed me bad, we would get hit with the belt. And when it happens so often, I learned to associate judgment with fear and pain. I also get anxious when I think about things being taken away from me. So this was another form of punishment in the household when I was a child, and then perfectionism takes its place. So be perfect so you don't have to experience loss. It was rare that there was peace and comfortability in the home when I grew up. There was a lot of toxicity, so it led to a lot of panic attacks and anxiety. And these things and these patterns were like, when I start to get comfortable, I start to get afraid because what's going to happen next? Because that's how it was in childhood. But we have to learn how to become aware of these things and say, okay, none of that's happening anymore. We can release it now. Of course, as kids, there's nothing you can do because your parents are your authority. You don't have useful tools to help yourself as a kid. You don't know what to do. You're just like, oh, so you go with the pattern, you get the trauma, that's just how it happens. So we release this by doing our inner work, by doing our chakra work, by journaling, by looking into ourselves. This is the path of knowing thyself and of healing. So when I was a kid, this was happening in my house, so my Chiron wound is kind of associated with this too. I had the mentality that I wasn't going to do anything right anyway, so I wouldn't even try. So I would just get in trouble no matter what, because why even try? It was my mentality. I was very rebellious and I did the opposite of what I was told. So this kind of made me like a black sheep, and I used like the tough girl exterior as a coping mechanism. So I'd get into fights a lot and I'd do bad shit, and I became rough around the edges because another thing that happened in the household was when we were having emotions or crying, it was considered weak. We were told, like, don't be a pussy about expressing emotions, and it was demonized. Like, if you're crying, if you're emoting, then you're not strong. So as a child, we learned, oh, my feelings are invalid, let's reject them. I shouldn't be feeling this way. And this creates rejection of yourself and your journey, and you become emotionally unavailable and closed off. So in order to heal this, you have to understand that you're not a victim. All of this had to happen. So before you incarnate, before you're born, your soul kind of maps out what you're going to be going through, challenges, like your awakening, your spiritual journey, all of it. Like not everyone has a career, but some people come in with a career that they're meant to do or something that they're meant to lead. They have gifts and all this, but they have to go through some challenges in order to get to the gold, right? So like mining for gold. So through these trials and tribulations that you've contracted to go through in this experience, you are not only helping to heal yourself, but the entire collective. So to become a whole being in the healing and the trauma, you teach others to do the same, or you just inspire them by leading by example. Forgiveness is key to this. Forgiveness for how you acted and who you had to become in order to feel safe. And forgiveness for our parents who were just doing things the way that they knew how, and they could have not acted in a more evolved way than they were able to at that time. Forgive yourself and everyone involved and let down your walls, knowing now that you're a new you and you don't live there anymore. The past is over. You're safe. Spirit's got you. Spirit wants to help you heal your relationship to your mother and to your father, and then to heal your relationship to Mother Earth and Father Sky. And at the end of the day, you are constantly in co-creation with the universe and spirit, and that is the relationship you should be consistently working on, as well as the one with yourself, because you are also an aspect of the universe. So, like, we all are. We are all one. Like, we're all like little, like, I'm thinking about like color by number. Is that what it is? Yeah, we're all little pieces, but it makes a big whole, right? A big whole picture, not a hole. But yeah. So if you feel like you're still in your patterning and your limiting beliefs, it's okay to be where you are and to love yourself there. And know that you're committed to your healing and to your growth. And you're taking action steps towards a better life. You don't need to be perfect to love yourself. You can love yourself right here, right now, exactly as you are, every step of the way. In fact, you need to be there for you, because you're the one who has to show up for you at the end of the day. It's your duty. It's not anybody else's. And you have things that you wish to heal and fix, just like we all do. But it's okay to love yourself through that. Like, you're not going to finish. You don't have to wait till you're perfect to love yourself. And also, what's perfect anyway? Because there's always growth and evolution to happen. Like, it's continuous. It's going to keep happening. And when you heal something else is going to come up. And you can love that too. And you can love all of you. So as you love yourself and you're gentle with yourself, things will start to fall away effortlessly when the time is right. And always remember, divine timing is always at play. So when it's no longer serving you, it'll fall off. And yes, sometimes trauma and patterns can serve in certain ways, but you have to trust and you have to let go of the mentality that you need to understand and figure everything out. You need to just let go and live and enjoy. And when you're not enjoying and you're constantly pushing and you're constantly on to the next thing, you're overachieving, you're trying new thing after new thing, and you're not being present with what you're doing, you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you're just taking perfectionism and you're doing that in a different way. It's a different form of perfectionism, and you're equating your worth to productivity. And sometimes you over-prepare for every little thing. You make sure you're mapping out every little step, and this interferes with you following your heart's guidance. So the intuition that you get in the moment from being completely present and in tune with yourself in the present, no thoughts, completely immersed in the moment, and something arises and you think, I should do that. That's your intuition. It comes straight from your heart, your soul. It's your soul's compass. And it arises when you're in a calm, peace, and practicing unconditional self-love. And trusting yourself is a huge one. You have to trust yourself. And you have to trust your intuition. And you also have to trust spirit. And trust that your spirit guides and angels send you guidance through your intuition and through your emotions. And overthinking and judging yourself on your reactions and experiences is honestly a waste of time and energy. You acted that way for a purpose. And if you feel that the way you acted wasn't in alignment with your soul, then you can use it as a learning experience and change your reaction the next time a similar situation comes up. And you don't have to beat yourself up for a mistake. Mistakes are what makes us who we are, like, they make us who we are, and they show us who we want to be. It's like a video game, like when you're trying to beat a level that you can't beat. It's like you learn all kinds of different tricks, and usually like the boss or whatever that you're trying to beat has like patterns, or it's patterns is what it is, and you learn how to work around them until you get it. And you don't have to feel bad about it. I don't think you beat yourself up when you like have to try 5 times to beat a boss if you play video games. Okay. So the symbol for heart chakra is a 12 lotus flower. 12 petals, sorry. And then here's the Sanskrit word. I don't know, it's backwards, so I guess you can't really see. But that's it. See, I'm actually coloring them now. This chakra moves in a counterclockwise direction, and it's connected to the 4th layer of the aura, which is the astral layer. This is the energy body that you travel in your dream state with. So this is why when you dream, it's related to your emotional world or your subconscious. And you can intend to clear this layer out when you're clearing the chakra. Also, like, there's a whole thing about astral traveling and learning to like wake up in your dreams. But I think I've only done it one time. Well, consciously anyway. So this chakra regulates the thymus, the heart, the lungs, circulation, hands, shoulders, breasts, and upper back. It is associated with love, generosity, compassion, and forgiveness. And you can grow this area through practicing giving and receiving unconditional love. That is love without condition. Not love when they act or do what I want them to do. Not like I don't think that this person is worthy because of how they act. It's unconditional. It's loving without condition, without gaining, without anything. It's just pure love. So we have to stop trying to shape people into what we want them to be and exert control over them. Let them live how they're going to live. Let them be how they're going to be. And love them where they are, exactly where they are. It doesn't mean overgiving. It doesn't mean bending over backwards. It means being kind and respectful as they are also on a journey. And if you can, maybe give a smile, maybe a compliment or a word of encouragement. Offer support without rescuing, enabling, overstepping, criticizing, or giving unwanted advice. Sometimes all a person wants you to do is listen and offer a friendly ear that says, man, I hear you. The shape for this chakra is a crescent moon, and the planet is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. The astrological signs associated are Libra and Taurus, which also Venus is the ruler of Libra and Taurus, and the animal is a dove. The goddess archetype you can work with this chakra is the lover. And the lover loves, and the lover connects and lives from a very heart-centered and unconditionally loving place. So if you're in your head making up any kinds of stories, then you're not living heart-centered and present. Overthinking is living in your stories, and it's suffering. So when we trust the divine and we trust our journeys and we know that it doesn't have to be hard. So if we believe we have to have hardships, then that's what we're going to get. But if we believe the hardships are over and that it's time to expand with ease and with grace, then that is what will come. So that's another belief we can reframe. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be easy. The hard stuff's over. Let's say that. Like, yeah, this is hard, a little bit healing, but it's like not as hard as probably some of the traumas we've gone through, right? Like, let's just let it go. Let it come up and out and through our bodies, like let it go. Okay. So the lover is the divine expression of love. She's much more than just romance, sex, sensuality, and pleasure. While intimacy shouldn't be overlooked, she has many more aspects to her. She is the embodiment of all types of love. So familial, platonic, romantic, divine. She seeks unity and connection from everyone and exudes oneness. And she wants to spread that love and connection to everyone. That's why she infuses everything she does with love in all areas of her life. She's dedicated, committed, and faithful, and her main purpose is to be in right relationship with a divine counterpart or with soul family. She is not afraid to show her emotions, and she sees them as an essential part of being alive. She's in love with love, and she's in love with life. She sees the beauty in all things, people, and places. She's also known as Aphrodite or Venus. She focuses on creating a beautiful life that she loves, and she loves nature, art, film, beauty, and aesthetics. She takes time to feel beautiful inside as well as outside, and she creates a beautiful environment everywhere she goes. We can call upon her in meditation to help us clear out our heart chakras and to call on her to help us embody more loving traits within our own selves. We can ask her to help us have healthier relationships and help us in experiencing a more uplifting existence in our day-to-day lives. We can find beauty of our own, and I also recommend doing this unconditional love meditation that is for self-love as well as embodying unconditional love. So you can go on YouTube and type in guided meditation to open heart unconditional love, and this is the picture you're gonna find. See that? I think it's a Buddha, but I'm not sure. I think it is. It's Buddha, and 6 rays of light coming out of his heart. So I really recommend doing this every day this week because it's really, really helpful, especially if you're not already practicing self-love and you need to open up yourself to your own love. It's what I started using when I first started. Okay, so the definition for the Sanskrit name of this chakra is unstruck, unbeaten, and unhurt, which speaks about the pure love and the loving nature of the heart. It serves our ability to receive and to give love as well as compassion, empathy, and forgiveness. So if you're constantly not giving a shit about anybody around you, your heart chakra may be imbalanced. Because it helps us to connect to all beings and even objects when it's, aligned. This can make us feel like very loving and connected, and this is also known as an energetic bridge to the spiritual realm. So this is the bridge or the portal between worlds. So when it's clear, obviously you can go to higher realms in meditation, and it's known as a unifier between the bottom 3 chakras and the top 3. And the top 3 are our spiritual senses and the realms of the soul. So when the heart chakra is open and flowing, you will feel like you're just giving off a loving energy, and you'll be basking in it. And you are able to love yourself and others and receive back the love that you give. So you'll feel deeply connected to others and enjoy harmonious exchanges. You'll see the good in everything and everyone and appreciate the smallest of things that you just find so beautiful. This energy helps us to see that we truly are all connected as one. We are all a part of one big collective, the human race. We're all in this together, and we can even take that a step further. We are all in this as one universe, like all of us in the universe. If this chakra is underactive, the energy is blocked or stagnant, and you may find yourself closed off, emotionally unavailable, or numb. You will struggle with giving and receiving love, and you'll find it difficult to forgive others. You'll be fixated on past pain that you can't get over. You will be self-isolating, lack empathy and compassion, and feel disconnected from others. You'll be overly critical of yourself and of others, and have problems practicing self-love and meeting your own basic needs. When the heart chakra is overactive, meaning too much energy is flowing, you may try to overly connect with others, leading to misjudgment, giving too much, or being in codependent relationships. You will appear to be a very loving person, but it stems from not feeling complete and whole within yourself. And you will need the validation of others so that you feel worthy. You may neglect your own emotions and fail to love your own self. You won't have any boundaries, and you will always be saying yes, even when you want to say no, even if it's not good for you and you know it's not good for you or your health. This can lead to so many imbalances, and it can affect your overall sense of well-being. Other symptoms will be fear of abandonment, possessiveness, jealousy, and emotional dependence. This chakra, when imbalanced, will cause chest pain and heart disease, respiratory issues including asthma, restlessness and palpitations, shortness of breath, panic attacks, depression, insomnia, lack of energy, immune system deficiencies, and shoulder and upper back pain. When you open this chakra, it's likely that an emotional buildup will come out. So a surge of buried emotions or things that you may have suspected you dealt with already, but now they reemerge. You can also feel a sense of loss, and you'll need to make sure you have a safe space to process these emotions, especially repressed things coming up. Don't push them away. Sit with them. Love them. Let them go. You don't need them anymore. Or you might feel like you have an emotional hangover. These waves of emotion can affect your physical body as well. So these are going to be the 3 to 5 day symptoms that I usually talk about that can happen when clearing it. It is shortness of breath, palpitations, chest pain, and this may arise from things coming up that were stored for many, many years, and you allow yourself to feel them, to heal them. So for me personally, I've been experiencing a lot of shoulder pain and upper back pain. You may also experience insomnia, which can result in a low immune system, and that can in turn result in illness. But remember that this is just temporary, and it's a process, and you'll need to process your emotions and feel them to heal them. So be kind to yourself and hold yourself while you cry if you need to, or ask the universe to hold you, because I always feel embraced when I ask the universe to hold me. I know, I always feel it. What I do journaling, so when I'm going through my process, I do journaling, and I also write letters to anyone or about certain emotions. And I explain how I felt. Either like, you made me feel betrayed, blah, blah, blah. I know, like, you're not giving it to somebody, so you're not, you like, using the words you made me feel like is not bad. Say how they made you feel in the letter before understanding, then it'll go into the understanding, it'll go into the compassion, and then you can burn the letter and release it. So I feel betrayed by you time and time again, but I do understand we're all human, we're all coming from a place of trauma. Like, this entire world is traumatized, and we're all just doing the best that we can, and a lot of us are living in unconscious patterns, and it's okay. You learned from that experience, and you learned, and you're stronger because of it, and now you can help other people going through the same thing because you've healed it. So you can release that person because they made you stronger. They gave you a gift. They gave you a gift of healing a certain pattern, and now you can help others. You don't need to harbor resentment or bad feelings. Yeah, they hurt you, and it hurts, but feel that hurt and let it go. You don't need it anymore. So the only way out is through. So when I started my process this week, I definitely knew some stuff was going to come up. I definitely had been processing things for many, many years, and I wasn't exactly sure what was going to come up. I mean, I had a feeling, but it was my betrayal wound, and it came up strong. This is why it's so important to be solid in your foundation when taking these steps. Because emotions have the tendency to overtake people, and you have to be able to ride that wave and not let it pull you under. So, I had an issue with someone who I looked at like a friend, and I guess I kind of saw the signs before this happened of her talking and laughing at me behind my back or in front of my face. I guess I saw it. So kind of just being unkind in general and trying to exert authority over me, which like I said, I'm my own inner authority, so I don't typically listen to people telling me what to do. Anyway, I think this is what triggered this person, or me just being a new me in general, because she was accustomed to a version of me when I was still resistant to life, when I was not in my highest expression, and I looked up to her, and I thought she was so cool, and I still think she's amazing, and I see her value, like I do mostly everybody, because I look for the good in people. But long story short is I feel the distance and separation happening between us, and I also feel her judging me, and I also hear her talking about me, and I also hear the nasty assumptions that she's making. And then when this was happening, I was, boom, all of a sudden back in kindergarten. I was back to this little girl who was told, like, I don't want to be your buzz partner because I don't like your voice. Or, I was that little version of me who had to do puzzles alone, and then kids stole my puzzle pieces. And, like, I was just ready to cry at that moment. And I was at work, so I couldn't. So that little me, I guess, I never really dealt with these things, and for some reason in kindergarten all my friends kept moving away. Like, I met a girl on the first day, and then she ended up switching a different class, and then I had another friend, and then she ended up moving, and then I had another friend who ended up moving. So I don't know, I guess I had a fear of being outcasted and being alone and being misjudged. And in kindergarten, I was kind of on my own, I felt like. But anyways, all those things came up. And then also how I was treated by other people who were jealous of me. So, like, some people have to constantly be right. Or they need to be the best. And for some reason, if someone is doing well also, they have to pick them apart and find flaws. Instead of building them up, they want to break them down. And instead of doing their own inner work and looking at themselves and going on a journey towards their inner alignment, they reside in a place of judgment towards themselves and of others. So usually you don't judge other people if you're not judging yourself. But if you're judging yourself, you're most likely judging other people as well. Now, judgment is another form of a distraction from focusing on yourself. Or it's also like being overly hard on yourself. Like I said, you don't have to be perfect to love yourself. This is a journey about becoming. The journey is the becoming better. And if you didn't have things to work on, then what would be the point of being here, right? So, instead of focusing on these things because they're too afraid that they're not perfect because they have perfectionism and they don't want to deal, they would rather look away from their own insecurities or inadequacies. Instead of looking at their life, the things that they are unhappy with, they look at others. What can I point out about you that will make me feel better than you? It's a trauma response. So, also, you're never going to be criticized by somebody that's doing more than you and focused on their self. Also, never take advice from anyone you wouldn't switch lives with. Remember. So, they're not practicing their self-love, and especially not their unconditional self-love. So if they're judging themselves, they're judging others. And a part of me thinks I was judging myself too, and I was being a little bit hard on myself, and this is what manifested into my reality. And maybe I do get a little bit hard on myself sometimes. And I'm realizing too, like I said, I'm on a journey too. I'm realizing I am just great as I am. And someone else judging me, it definitely brought up a lot of wounds that I had to go through. And I know it was meant because I needed to heal these things. I know that. But does it make the emotion easier? No. You still have to feel it, and it hurt, and I cried, and then I thought about every single time something like this has happened, and how many times I've felt alone in my life, and all these things that I cried out, and I cried out, and I cried out. But now I feel myself healing, and I feel this weight lifting. So there's also people that need to be the prettiest, or they need to be right all the time, and this is overcompensation for the fact that they don't feel worthy within themselves. They don't feel like they are already whole, worthy, and complete. You are whole, worthy, and complete for just being you, for being on your journey, for being on this planet at this time. And then the comparison game comes into play. This is the ego helping you to feel safe in the only way that it knows how, which is strictly the mind and the mind's games by comparing. So we're all on different journeys, and we all have different strengths, and we all have different things to offer. So comparison is like slapping a bandage over a self-worth wound that needs to be dealt with. Then there are people who always need to be the center of attention because their sense of self-worth is derived from how many people like them. But they change and shape-shift to whoever they're around to be what that person wants them to be. And in doing that, they abandon themselves. People-pleasing. And who they are, they abandon that too. So they have no boundaries. They're watery boundaries. They have no solid foundation in themselves. And they will most likely follow society's standards that emotions are weakness, and they overgive, and they think productivity makes them more worthy. So when they see someone open-hearted and detached and also their own inner authority, that this person that doesn't automatically do what everyone else tells them to do, it defies the box that we've been taught to be in. And it defies what we've been brought up and programmed to believe. And that triggers them. And that leads to jealousies and judgments and nastiness. And if this happens to you, just remember that you're triggering all of their inadequacies, and it's not about you at all. It is fully about them. So keep on living in your open-hearted way and in touch with your emotions, because it's not weak to be sensitive. In fact, it means that you're in tune with your journey and your mission, your spiritual mission, and you're taking your inspired action steps through your intuition to become the person you came here to be. Someone who doesn't live in resistance and is not weighed down by society's standards of you and the expectations put on you, because you love and approve of yourself, and you don't need that from others. And that kind of unconditional self-love is what the heart chakra is all about. When we give ourselves unconditional love, it's easier for us to give others unconditional love. And we can see and have compassion for others and the patterns that they're stuck in, because we've been there. And we have had to overcome them as well. So we know how challenging it is, but we trust that the divine is working with everyone on their own time, exactly when they're supposed to. We trust the divine. And we know that we come up against challenges to become stronger. And also, sometimes we have to learn to be comfortable in silence. So, not saying things to people if you don't feel inspired to. If you feel like you should stay silent around someone, there's probably a reason why. Your spirit guides and angels send you messages through your emotions. So don't force anything. You don't have to be friends with everyone, and it's okay to realize that you're a high value being and you can be discerning and conservative with your time and energy. You don't have to be mean or think that you're better than anyone. You just need to be quiet and be okay and comfortable in the silence, because that's what's right for that particular moment. And it's not saying you're better, it's just saying, like, okay, nobody's better because they haven't healed, right? Because you don't know how far this person's going to go when they start healing. This person's still in their trauma. That doesn't make them less valuable. They are also valuable, but they don't know it. But once you start knowing your value and you're knowing your worth, then you're going to say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to keep fucking putting myself through this shit. Like, I don't deserve that. And that's unconditional self-love. Like, being able to say, I'm not going to deal with this. But I love this person and I want the best for them. And I truly, truly want to see them healed too and be free too. Because that's truly what I desire. But I'm going to end this here. And I hope you have a fantastic heart chakra week. Take good care of yourself. And next week's the throat chakra. I'll see you then.